South Carolina, but police have refused any comment. 4 people have been arrested for stripping and stealing the elder Jordan's car found last week in Fayetteville, North Carolina. None of those charged are said to be murder suspects. Jordan's body was found August 3rd. The Jordan family has released a statement saying they are shocked by the sudden loss. They're withholding further comment while the investigation is underway.
In Lumberton, North Carolina. Mr. Jordan had pulled off the side of the road obviously to rest for a while, and he was shot to death while in his car and was taken to the state of South Carolina and placed into the swamp where he was found.
Police findings seem to confirm the idea that they had yesterday, that this was merely a random act of violence and not a premeditated murder. Again, throughout the morning, we'll continue to bring you the latest information we have on the arrest of 2 suspects in the murder of James Jordan. Now, private funeral services will be held this afternoon in Wallace, North Carolina.
James Jordan, the father of basketball superstar Michael Jordan. Larry Demery and Daniel Green also face charges of armed robbery and conspiracy to commit armed robbery. Their next court appearance is set for September 3rd, given to his father. Police are still searching for the murder weapon.
Jordan's father, James Jordan, and I know you're probably in trouble here, so let me let you get yourself off the hook right now.
Yes, Ahmad, I really appreciate the fact that I can take this opportunity to wish my beautiful wife a happy Mother's Day, along with my beautiful daughter-in-law, and believe it or not, my daughter.
All right, now tell me about him. Now, Michael is one of these rare athletes that, as great as he is during the season, he really gets into another focus during the playoffs.
Yeah, well, you know, Michael sort of brought this forward as he grew up, you know. He's one of those individuals that hates to lose.
He's one of those individuals that hates to lose.
Hey, what's going on with y'all, man? It's Black Balloon, and I'm coming back with another video, so y'all already know what's going on. Look, today we are finally back with the Initiated Part 3. I figured I would do this video a little bit different and do it about, quote-unquote, the GOAT, Michael Jordan. So I figured I'd make the Initiated Part 3 a little bit more personal to, one player, and not kind of like do a compilation of clips, so you can say this is still kind of like a sacrifice video, but then at the same time, it's kind of really just all about, Jordan's initiation to become who he is today, so that's kind of why I made it about, made it under the series, the Initiated Part 3. Now, of course, we're going to get into everything that involves, which I believe in a lot of people do, the sacrifice of his dad, James Jordan. We're definitely going to get into the details, which is why I showed that clip in the beginning, because mostly, that's what we're going to cover in this video, and we're just going to go over some numbers and some things, some things that kind of represent or show face from the occult in Jordan's career. The moments that made him who he is and how everything was basically planned from the jump. The moment Michael Jordan was chosen to be the GOAT of basketball, greatest player of all time. Number 23, Air Jordan. So with that being said, we're going to get into a few more clips. So check these out.
Of killing the father of NBA superstar Michael Jordan says he's innocent. James Jordan died in 1993. Andre Green and his friend Larry Demery were both charged with murder. Demery testified Green pulled the trigger, killing Jordan in the car where he'd been sleeping.
And of course, I'm pissed to a certain degree because I know that I've been here for 17 years, for something that I really didn't have nothing to do with.
Green says a new report reveals mistakes at North Carolina's crime lab. The 35-year-old is trying to get his case back in court and has filed a motion on his own.
First of all, you have them withholding potentially exculpatory evidence.
The latest development in Green's case hinges on blood evidence. Back in 1996, an investigator testified she found a small amount of blood in the passenger seat of Jordan's car. But the latest report reveals the crime lab only found indications of blood during an initial test, and 4 follow-up tests were inconclusive. Green's case is one of nearly 200 under review. Other mistakes at the lab have led authorities to call for a criminal investigation.
Already see me walking out of these doors, and that's what's, inspired me and kept me going. So this is just something else that pretty much confirms that I'm on the right, path.
Green says he was not present when Jordan died, but has admitted he helped dispose of the body. He's also admitted to using Jordan's car and taking his jewelry. Son Michael Jordan has declined to comment. Carlotta Bradley, The Associated Press.
All right, y'all. So right off back, as we always do, when I kind of gather these clips and, we kind of revisit some stories, revisit a few narratives that we got from the death of James Jordan, Michael Jordan's dad. Now, in that previous clip, we already get an inconsistency about whether or not how they found blood in the passenger seat of the car. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't see any article anywhere that actually stated where James Jordan was sitting in the car. Obviously, we want to think he was sitting in the driver's seat. So I'm not really sure what the debate about would be as far as whose blood is in the passenger seat. Maybe the debate is about whether it's James Jordan blood or not, because I don't recall any one of the people, the 2 dudes who actually did the murders, which I think they were the fall guys, but I don't think neither one of them was shot or was shedding any kind of blood, dripping any kind of blood anywhere. So this had to be, a back and forth about rather how they found James Jordan's blood. I'm going to assume that because I didn't see anything that actually stated, whether that was his blood or not. But it doesn't make sense for them to basically put in the file that they found blood when they turn around, have somebody else, retest it, reinvestigate, and say that there were only indications of blood, not actual blood splatter or a blood stain, just indications of blood that weren't really proven to be actual blood, so just something that looked like blood, but the test came back to be basically inconsistent. So when we get that kind of story, we question, rather there was actually blood in the car at all. You know how we get these cases of these sacrifices where, where the person was shot, like XXX, Nipsey, a few more people where there's no blood on the scene. And that in itself is a ritual. So y'all know how we do. We just questioning those kind of things because they always leave little pieces in there, basically for us to figure out, for people like me and you. So I had to point that out. Basically, I had to show that clip so we can just kind of gather these inconsistencies. And next, I'm going to show you a short clip real quick before I come back and kind of really get into the numbers and stuff that, surround 1993 and everything that happened around James Jordan's death that aligned with Michael Jordan's career and the way that it was going at that time. So right now, just check out this short clip before I come back, and we're going to talk about a few more things.
For many, the documentary revived interest in the shocking 1993 murder of Michael's father. Now, a new docuseries is raising fresh questions about who killed him and renewing calls for a retrial. In the summer of 1993, James Jordan was found in a swamp, shot and killed. His vandalized red Lexus found dozens of miles away. 2 childhood friends, 18-year-old Daniel Green and 17-year-old Larry Demery, were arrested for the crime. Authorities claiming that the 2 teens killed the elder Jordan during a botched robbery and that Green pulled the trigger. But now the 5-part series Moment of Truth airing on IMDb TV, questioning that verdict, re-examining the case through rarely seen crime scene photos, fresh interviews with key players, and never before heard audio tapes from the murder trial.
The rest of the world, I felt such a sense of loss when your father was murdered. I know you dedicated the book to him and used that photo. When I saw the boys in the paper, I personally, the boys who were accused of murdering your father, I wanted to confront them and ask them why they did it. And I wondered if you wanted to do the same.
Well, I haven't gotten to that stage yet. You know, it's been a very tough time for me to deal with it. And I don't really have any feelings against them yet. You know, I guess because it hadn't really sunk in yet. But there's a lot of sadness out there with people who do these things for whatever reasons that they choose to do that. But I just really hadn't quite understood the reasoning for that. And I know.
You say it hasn't sunk in yet?
No.
No?
I still think about it a lot.
Would you want to ever say to them why?
No, because I don't want to know.
You don't?
No. Because it probably would hurt me even more just to know their reasons. Because if it is, it's going to be totally meaningless to the reason. And it's better that I don't know. You know.
All right, y'all. This part of the video, we're going to dig into some numbers and a couple of things that surrounds the sacrifice of James Jordan and how it kind of just relates back to the way that Michael Jordan's career was going at that time in 1993. Now, this is a New York Times article from August 16th, 1993, just about only 3 days after the body of James Jordan was actually identified. Now, he died July 23rd. He was killed July 23rd, supposedly. His body was actually found August 3rd. So notice these numbers that we're getting. He was killed July 23rd. Also 23, obviously, being Michael Jordan's number. His body was identified August 13th. So right there, we get 333. Killed on July 23rd, which could also equal 666. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 goes into 3, 0.666 times. So we get a lot of occult numerology that surrounds the sacrifice of James Jordan. I'll say it again. Murdered July 23rd. Body found August 3rd. Body identified August 13th. Now, those are some pretty powerful numbers to the occult. Now, this also was in 1993, so I just felt like they were a lot more blatant with it, because at that time, you know, obviously there's nothing like today. The internet, nothing like today. You know, nothing exists the way it does now. There weren't people like me and you just going crazy all over the place trying to figure out this stuff, you know? And so as we go down, and the reason I wanted to get into this article is because, as always, they always try to tie something to another narrative, you know, to kind of make you believe in it, make it seem more personal to Michael Jordan and not just some kind of random act so you don't question it. So I was glad I actually found this article, you know, because basically they tried to say that this could have been because of Michael Jordan's gambling problems. You know what I'm saying? And speculation that the death might be in some way related to Jordan's highly publicized gambling activities. Cause led to arrest. Binder said that the 2 men were brought to Robeson County Sheriff's Office outside Lumberton, North Carolina, about 33 miles south of here, and arrested there at 6:30 a.m. today. Now, if I'm not mistaken, his body, he was actually killed around 3:30 a.m. overnight on July 23rd. I saw that in an article. I'm not sure if it was in this article right here, but I did see it in an article. But we're going to find out because I'm going to scroll down here in a second. But once again, I want y'all to notice how they put that about 33 miles. Now, usually when you round off something, like, yeah, man, you probably about 20 miles. You're not saying, yeah, man, you probably about 23 miles away from me. You know, you're going to generalize it. You're going to round it off. You know, you're going to round it off by tens. You're not going to round it off, you know, with any other random number. Like, yeah, bro, you probably about 33 miles away from me. You know, usually you're going to be like, you about 30 miles. But no, we know how the occult works. This is how they let you know what was behind it. Who was behind it? This was a ritual. The entire thing was a ritual. And once again, we have to question if James Jordan ever died in the first place. Remember, there's inconsistencies about whether blood was found in the passenger seat or not. They didn't say anything about the driver's seat. So remember those inconsistencies. So it's odd that they would use 33 miles, you know, in this case where they were saying that that's where the people were arrested at, you know. So I just wanted to point that out to y'all. Once again here, they're just going over when exactly he was killed. And they do say he was killed in the early hours of July 23rd, which matches what I saw on another article, that he was actually killed around 3:30 a.m. Also here, the men kept the car 3 more days, he said, before leaving it at the end of a dirt road on the outskirts of Fayetteville, which is about 60 miles from where the body was left. So you have to think about it. There's another 3. They kept the car for 3 more days. So they give us all kinds of powerful occult numbers throughout this sacrifice and this ritual that Jordan had a hand in and knew exactly what happened to his dad. Rather, his dad is dead or not. Because remember, this could all be a show. This could all just be a ritual for Michael Jordan. This could all be a ritual for Jordan to become that 33rd degree Freemason. Because at this point, remember, he'd already won 3 rings. He'd already won 3 rings. Now, the crazy thing is, it makes me think about when he made that shot to win his 6th ring. Now, obviously, this doesn't have anything to do with the year of 1993. But check out this clip, and I know many of y'all have probably seen it, where he made this last second shot.
Malone is doubled. They swat at it and steal it. Here comes Chicago. 17 seconds. 17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan.
Now, here, oh, actually, I was right. It was this article right here, because I remember reading over it. I just couldn't remember if it was this one or if it was another article that I read. But it does says Stone put the time of death at 3:30 a.m. That's once again, y'all got to understand how specific they are with these numbers. There's a 33 again. Remember? They arrested the guys about 33 miles from Lumberton, where he was killed. And then they can somehow pinpoint the exact time of 3:30 a.m. that he died. Not 3 a.m. or, you know, around 4 o'clock or, you know, 3:42 or 3:40. No, they chose 3:30 a.m. So once again, the numbers are right in our face, and it's showing us exactly what we're looking for. So this article, to me, Remember, it was done August 16th, 1993. So the numbers are here. This is not an old article. So they did all of this on purpose. Now, moving on. And y'all have to remember what I just showed y'all with the clip of Michael Jordan releasing that shot right when the clock said 6.6. That's no coincidence, because his entire career was scripted. That's no coincidence at all that he released that shot right at 6.6. Basically 6.66, because the person that's releasing the shot wears number 23. We know 2 and 3 equals 6. The clock was 6.6. That's your 6.66 right there to finalize that ring that he got that year in 1993. And you won't believe, look, I know y'all see it on the screen already. It's been sitting right here. If y'all ain't already been looking and catching on to what I'm about to say, I'm going to need y'all to do a little bit better, because these are his playoff stats for the year 1992 to 1993, basically when he was in the playoffs in 93, right before his dad died. He finished that shot on 6.6 seconds. He wore the number 23, that equals 6, and guess how many points he had for that entire playoff series? Not just that one series, but the entire playoffs. So including the finals, he had 666 points. 666. Do y'all see that shit? He averaged 35.1 points per game in the playoffs that year. His total amount of points is 666, bro. You cannot make this up. And I didn't make this up. This is a real article. This is his real stats. Y'all can go and look this up for yourself right now. This shit does not happen right here, bro. This does not happen. Everything about that entire year was all a ritual dedicated to the GOAT. Dedicated to Satan him fucking self. Literally, Michael Jordan gave everything. He gave his own dad. Why? Because the devil demands a sacrifice. He'd already sold his soul, so this day was coming regardless. That's why they dedicated this entire year of 93 to the GOAT, to making Michael Jordan the GOAT. And what did he do? He came right back, won his 4th ring on Father's Day. It don't get any more staged than that. Y'all remember that photo of Jordan when he was laying down on the ground in the locker room after he won the ring? That was on Father's Day. It don't get more scripted than that, bro. That's Hollywood and the people who pull the strings and who run the shows. You know, basically, like we always say, pulling on your heart. That's so you can feel it more. You can give more of yourself to the ritual that Michael Jordan himself is participating in. Like, come on. Who gets 666 points in the playoffs exactly? Then that next year, not the next year, 2 years later, come back, win his 4th ring on Father's Day. On Father's Day. So they split it. It was basically a 33rd degree Freemasonic ritual. Excuse me. Because 33 and 666 was written all over it. He won 3 rings before his dad died. Then he came back and he won 3 rings again. So it was a pause in between, which obviously is a total of 6. So you have 33, 3 before, 3 after he retired and came back. 33 ritual. It's pretty simple. So here, this was just a tweet from Larry Johnson. Now, a lot of you may know that Larry Johnson was really spoken out after his stint with the NFL, and he's spoken a lot. He's spoken about girls sacrificing like her mom or grandma or something like that. I think Megan Thee Stallion. I forget which one died. I think it was her mom or her grandma. I forget. He's spoken about a lot of stuff. So as you can see, he also spoke about, you know, them not wanting to say the real truth unless it's about whether or not Jordan sacrificed his dad. You know, so I guess you could call it him being really involved in all the conspiracies out there, or you can say that he's just like us. He has his own mind, regardless of the fact that he was in the NFL. You know, clearly he sees what's going on out here in the industry. You know, and I've looked at things that he said, and it doesn't sound like he's controlled opposition, because he doesn't have like a huge platform. He's not out here changing people's minds. So it's like, you know, he's damn near just like us. We can talk about all this shit all we want all day, but at the end of the day, it's not like we have, you know, we're doing it one by one. We're not just, you know, millions of people aren't starting to, you know, protest all these conspiracies and shit just because of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get what I'm trying to say? He doesn't really have that voice to the people. So I didn't see him as controlled opposition. You know what I'm saying? At least I didn't. You know, and the crazy thing about Jordan's symbol, as far as, you know, him, his famous logo, Air Jordan, you know, basically dunking from the free throw line with his legs spread. If y'all never paid attention, it creates a triangle. You know, just the entire theme of Air Jordan is basically showing allegiance to Satan, showing allegiance to the fact that he is the prince of the air. He is the power of the air. He controls everything, you know, up there. He controls the airwaves. That's Satan. That's his territory. That's his kingdom, basically. You know, Satan has a kingdom in water. He has a kingdom on land, and he has a kingdom in the air. We're talking about in the sky. Just, you know, he's the prince of the air. Y'all already know that, you know. So if you think about it, Jordan's entire theme, his entire everything, being like a lifetime athlete to Nike, having this Air Jordan logo. You know, if you think about it, this is all Saturn worship. This is all goat worship. This is all showing their allegiance to Satan at the end of the day. It's nothing more. And the crazy thing about it, it takes me on the flip side to football and Tom Brady. Now, this goes to show you that they do the same thing across all sports on their biggest puppets, you know, their biggest money getters. You know what I'm saying? Like, the GOAT of basketball is Michael Jordan. The GOAT of football now has become Tom Brady, a white man. A GOAT for basketball is a black man. So there you get your duality that all Satanists basically believe in. As above, so below. Also, Tom Brady won 6 rings with New Orleans. Now, the year that Tom Brady won 6 rings, their head coach, Belichick, was 66 years old, also winning his 6th ring. 666 is pretty easy. Now, if we want to go to the college level, and we want to go to damn near who is becoming one of the greatest college coaches of all time, if he's not already there, Nick Saban for Alabama. The year before Belichick won at 66, his 6th ring, also Tom Brady's 6th ring, Nick Saban was 66 years old and won his 6th championship on the college level. I think in 2018, 17, whenever they played Georgia. When they played Georgia in that championship, and Tua Tagovailoa, he in the NFL now. I don't know if a lot of y'all know about him or watch sports like that, but he came in the second half and, you know, did his thing or whatever, and they won the game. That was Nick Saban's 6th championship at 66 years old. So it goes to show y'all across all sports, they use these, you know, kind of like the same number coding. You know, everything is planned out over time to land on a certain number. And that's just how the occult works. And that's how they script a lot of these players' careers, whether you want to believe it or not. It's just is what it is. So I hope y'all enjoyed that video. That was the Initiated Part 3. The GOAT, Michael Jordan, and the sacrifice of James Jordan. As always, y'all already know what's going on, man. We coming back with a lot more content. It's Friday. And I hope y'all have a good weekend. It's Black Balloon. And I'm going to see y'all soon. I'm out.